Hey guys, I'm T and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, we make trendy and fun crochet tutorials twice a week, and if you haven't already, smash that like button, drop a comment below, and subscribe to join in on the fun. I was going through unused yarn and thought to make this pretty pink number. I've been really feeling how clean things are lately, so I kept with that trend and added a nice little corset tie along the top. But if that's not your thing, feel free to leave it out because it's totally optional. But for me, it adds a little something, so I like it. It was actually a bit of a debate between Chief and I. He likes it tied with a bow underneath, but I prefer it with the string hanging. And we both like it on string, so there's a lot of options here. Let me know how right I am in the comments below, or how you would wear it. I love hearing from you guys. Now it's time for me to bust moves, so I bid you adieu and say, without further ado, for this project, any category 4 yarn will work, but I use 330 grams of yarn, or that's 500 yards if you're stateside. As for tools, a 5.5mm hook, scissors, stitch markers, and a tape measure. There is a written pattern down below. Use offer code TCDDIY for a discount off any $9.99 plus order. Watch to the end of the video to learn how to enter this week's giveaway. We're using 3 stitches for this project, and they will be as follows. Chain, slip stitch, single crochet, and half double crochet. This tutorial is for a size small, but you can adjust it for your size, and we explain how to in the video, so let's get started. Getting this top started, we're first going to grab our category 4 yarn and make a slip knot. Next, we're going to grab our 5.5mm hook. And we're going to start by making a chain that reaches from our underarm down to where we want the bottom of this top to be. I'm going to make a chain that's 12 inches or 30 centimeters, so it's going to be a chain of 40. Now that we have our chain, we're going to block off that last chain and do a chain up of 2. This is our turning chain. From here, we're going to yarn over, and then into that chain that we blocked off, or the third chain from our hook, we're going to insert with a half double crochet. So insert your hook, we're going to yarn over, pull through. We should have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Let's do this again. Yarn over, insert your hook into that next chain, yarn over, pull through. You should have 3 loops, so yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Put 1 half double crochet into every chain, leaving the last one because we're going to increase together. Now that we've half double crocheted all the way down our chain, we have just 1 left, and we're going to do an increase into there together. So yarn over, insert your hook into that last chain, yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through 3, and put 1 more half double crochet into that last chain. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull through. Yarn over, pull through 3. From here, we're going to do a row of back loop slip stitches. So do a chain up of 1 and flip our work. We're going to insert our hook into our first back loop. So instead of going in through both of the loops like normal, we're going to insert into the loop that's furthest away from us into the first stitch. So insert your hook, yarn over, and pull through everything on your hook. Let's do this again. Insert your hook into that next back loop, yarn over, and pull through everything. We're going to put 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch, making our way all the way down. Now that we've made our way down with our back loop slip stitch row, we're going to do a row of back loop half double crochets. So do a chain up of 2. That's our turning chain, and we're going to flip our work. We're going to yarn over and then insert our hook into that first back loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 3. We're going to put 1 back loop half double crochet into every stitch, leaving the last one because we're going to increase together just 1 more time. Now that we've made our way all the way down with our back loop half double crochets, into that last stitch, we're going to go in with another increase. So yarn over, insert your hook into that last back loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 3. We're going to put 1 more back loop half double crochet into that same last stitch. So yarn over, insert, pull through, yarn over, pull through 3, and then just like before, we're going to do a chain up of 1, flip our work, and then put 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch. So let's do the first few. Insert your hook into that first back loop, yarn over, pull through everything, into that next back loop, yarn over, and pull through everything. From here, we're going to maintain a row of back loop half double crochets with an increase and a row of back loop slip stitches till this reaches from mid underarm to the front of our underarm. And then I'll meet you guys back after a slip stitch row. All right, I now have my underarm rows, which is a total of 4 rows. And from here, we're going to be increasing into every row. And since we ended on a back loop slip stitch row, we're going to put 1 back loop half double crochet into every stitch, leaving the last one because now we're going to do an increase of 3. So from where we're at, do a chain up of 2, flip our work, and put 1 back loop half double crochet into every stitch till we have just 1 left. Now that we've made our way down and we have just 1 stitch left, we're now going to do an increase of 3. So yarn over, insert your hook into that last back loop, yarn over, pull through 3. There's our first half double crochet. Let's go in with another one into that same last stitch, and then 1 more. So we now have 3 half double crochets into that same last stitch. And we're also going to be increasing into our next row, which is a back loop slip stitch row. So from here, we're going to do a chain up of 2. The second chain that we have, or the chain that's nearest to our hook, is going to count as our turning chain. So we're going to flip our work, and then we're going to insert our hook into the second chain's back loop. So skip this first one, insert your hook into the second chain's back loop, yarn over, and pull through everything. And then from here, we're going to maintain putting 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch. And we're going to be repeating these 2 rows. So a row of increase of 3 back loop half double crochets, and then a row of increase for our back loop slip stitches until this portion reaches the front of our body. And then I'll meet you guys back right after a back loop half double crochet row so that we can do our shoulder portion. I have 7 total rows for my underarm, and I am now finished with this part. And from here, we're going to make a chain that reaches up to our shoulder. I'm going to make a chain of 5 inches or 13 centimeters. So that's going to be about a chain of 17. Now that I have my chain, I'm going to block off that last chain and do a chain up of 1. Into that chain that we blocked off, or the second chain from our hook, we're going to insert with a slip stitch. So yarn over, pull through everything. And from here, we're going to put 1 slip stitch into every chain. Now that we put 1 slip stitch into every chain, we're now going to work into the body with more back loop slip stitches. So if you guys need to, we can turn our work and insert our hook into that first back loop, yarn over, pull through, and put 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch that we have. When we make our way down to the end, do a chain out of 2, flip our work, and then put 1 back loop half double crochet into every stitch. And we're going to keep alternating between rows of back loop half double crochets and back loop slip stitches with no increases and no decreases until we have a shoulder portion the size that we like. I'll meet you guys after a back loop slip stitch row so that we can go in with our V-neck. All right, I am back with my shoulder portion. I have a total of 10 rows, and I am now ready to go in with my V-neck. So from here, we're going to insert our stitch marker into the point where we want our V-neck to start. I inserted mine into the 17th stitch, where that's about 5 inches or 13 centimeters down from the top. From here, I'm going to put 1 back loop half double crochet into every stitch until I am just 2 stitches away from my stitch marker. All right, now that we are 2 stitches away from our stitch marker, we're going to do a decrease into those 2 stitches. So from here, yarn over, insert your hook into that second to last back loop, yarn over, pull through, and then into that last back loop, yarn over, pull through. We should have 4 loops on our hook, so yarn over and pull through all 4. That is our back loop half double crochet, decrease of 2. From here, do a chain up of 1 and a flip. We're going to be doing a decrease into our slip stitch row as well. So insert your hook into that first back loop, yarn over, pull through. Into that next back loop, you should have 3 loops on our hook. From here, we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And we're going to put 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch. When we make our way down to the end, do a chain up of 2, flip our work, and put 1 back loop half double crochet into every stitch again, leaving the last 2 because we're going to decrease together one more time. Now that we've half double crocheted all the way down, we have 2 stitches left and we're going to decrease together once more. So yarn over, insert your hook into that second to last back loop. Yarn over, pull through, and then into that last back loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 4. Do a chain up of 1 and flip, and let's do our decrease of 2 back loop slip stitches together as well. So insert your hook into that first back loop, pull through, into that next back loop, we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on our hook. And from here, we're going to alternate between these 2 rows, maintaining the decrease until we reach the middle of our chest. And we'll meet back after a half double crochet row so that we can do our middle slip stitch row together and then start the other side. So I'm back and I have made my way all the way down to the middle of my chest. I have a total of 19 rows. I did end on a back loop half double crochet row, and then our middle row will be a slip stitch row with no increases, no decreases. So from here, do a chain up of 1, flip our work, and then put 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch. Once we make our way down to the end, do a chain up of 2, flip our work, and then put 1 back loop half double crochet into every stitch, working our way back up. Leave the last stitch so that we can increase together so we can do the other side. Now that I've made my way up with my back loop half double crochets, we left our last stitch and we're going to increase into there together. So yarn over, insert your hook into that last back loop, yarn over, pull through 3, and then we're going to put 1 more back loop half double crochet into that same stitch. So yarn over, into that last stitch with a half double crochet. And then from here, just like how we did a decrease into every row for this portion of our V-neck, going to have to do an increase into every row going back up. So we're going to start this row off by doing a chain out of 2 and flip our work. Into the second chain from our hook, insert your hook into that back loop, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through everything. Let's do the next one. Insert your hook into that next back loop, yarn over and pull through everything, and put 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch. We're going to maintain these 2 rows of increasing until we have the same amount of rows that we have on this side, and then I'll meet you guys back so we can do our shoulder portion. Okay, I now have the other side of my V-neck done, and now we're going to go in with our shoulder strap. So from here, I'm going to make the same chain number as stitches as I skipped on this side. So if you guys are going in with my numbers, I skipped 17 stitches. So from here, I'm going to make a chain of 17. And now that I have my chain, I'm going to block off my last chain, do a chain up of 1, and then into that chain that we blocked off, or the second chain from my hook, I'm going to insert my hook with a slip stitch. And then from here, we're going to put 1 slip stitch into every chain. When we reach our body, put 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch. From there, do a chain out of 2, flip our work, then put 1 back loop half double crochet into every stitch. And then alternate between a row of back loop slip stitches and back loop half double crochets for the same amount of rows as we have on this side. And then I'll meet you guys back. All right, my shoulder strap is now finished, and now from here we're going to do our underarm. Like the other side, we're going to start off by decreasing into every row for the same amount of rows that we did over here. First, going to need to insert our stitch marker into the same amount of stitches as chains that we made on this side. So if you guys are going with my numbers, on this side, I did a chain up of 17. So from here, I counted down 17, inserted my stitch marker, and then from here, we're going to do back loop half double crochets, working our way up until we are 3 stitches before our stitch marker. So I have made my way all the way down, and I have left 3 stitches right before my stitch marker. So now we're going to do a decrease of 3 back loop half double crochets. So yarn over, insert your hook into that third to last back loop, yarn over, pull through. Second to last back loop, yarn over, pull through, and then also into that last back loop, yarn over, pull through. From here, we're going to yarn over, pull through all of our loops, just like that. From here, we're going to do a decrease of 2 back loop slip stitches, so flip your work. We're going to insert our hook into that first back loop, pull through, into that next back loop, yarn over, pull through all 3, and put 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch. Now we're going to maintain these 2 rows that we just did for the same amount of rows that we did on this side for these types of decreases. I just had a total of 3 of these rows, so I will meet you guys back after that so that we can close off with the rest of our underarm portion together. I now have the first part of our underarm all finished, and we're going to close this off by doing the same type of decreases as we did increases over here. So when we first started this off, we only increased into our half double crochet rows. So to close this off, we're only going to be decreasing into our half double crochet rows. So from here, I'm going to be putting 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch, work my way back up with back loop half double crochets, and then do a decrease of 2 back loop half double crochets. I'm going to keep doing that for the same amount of rows that I have on this side, do a chain up of 1 and cut, and then I'll meet you guys back so that we can do our back panel together. Alright, so I have just finished up going in with the entirety of my front panel. I did do a chain up of 1 and cut after my last row, and from here we're going to go in with the back. It's going to be done really similarly. So we're all going to start off by making the same underarm portion that we made for the front panel. So make the same chain count and same row count with the same type of increases, and then I'll meet you guys back just to talk you guys through going through with the back. Alright, so I am back with my underarm portion. I made the exact same thing as my front panel. From here, we're going to make a chain that shoots up to our shoulder, just like how we did for the front panel. And then from here, we're going to do rows of back loop, single crochets, and back loop half double crochets for the same amount of rows that we have from our first shoulder row to our last shoulder row. And then I'll meet you guys back so that we can start off our underarm portion together. Okay, I have made my way across my back, and now we're going to close off with our underarm. It's going to be the same underarm that we did for the front panel, so as a refresher, we're going to insert our stitch marker into the same stitch count that we made as chains over here. If you guys are going in with my numbers, mine was 17, so I inserted my stitch marker into the 17th stitch, and then for the first row that we're going to do, we're going to work our way up with back loop half double crochets till we're 3 stitches right before our stitch marker, do a decrease of 3 back loop half double crochets, and then repeat the same amount of rows that we have on this side. Once we have those done, then we're just going to do a back loop half double crochet with a decrease into it until we have the same amount of rows on this side. Then do a chain up of 1 and cut, and then I'll meet you guys back. I've just finished up going in with the underarm of my back panel. I did a chain up of 1 and cut, and now we can seam our pieces together. What we're going to do is take our back panel and then flip it down so that our ribbing is face down. And then we're going to take our front panel and lay the ribbing on top so it's faced up. And then we're going to insert our hook into the corner stitch of the front panel and then into the corner stitch of the back panel. We're going to insert our yarn onto our hook, pull through, do a chain up of 1. From here, we're going to do outside loop slip stitches, working our way up. So let's do the first one. Into the next stitch, into the front panel, insert your hook only in through that front loop. Into the next stitch into the back panel, only insert your hook in through that back loop. Like that. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops that's on our hook. Let's do this again. Into the next stitch, into the front loop, and then into the next stitch, going into the back loop. Yarn over and pull through everything. We're going to keep doing outside loop slip stitches, working our way all the way up. Now that our side is seamed, now we're going to seam our shoulder. So the first thing we're going to do is flip our work wrong side out, meaning our ribbing is going to be faced inward towards each other now. And then we're going to insert our hook into the corner stitch of the front panel, corner stitch of the back panel, and then we're going to insert our yarn onto our hook. We're going to pull through everything, do a chain up of 1 to secure. From here, we're going to be putting 1 single crochet into every side row that we have. There's not going to be any real loops for us to go into, so we're going to have to find the side loops of each row. So the next one that I have is going to be this side half double crochet row. I'm going to insert my hook into there. Into my other panel, I'm going to insert my hook into the side half double crochet row as well. And then I'm going to single crochet. And then I actually just have one more row left to do, so let's do this together. My next row is this side slip stitch row. So I'm going to insert my hook into that top loop, then also into the top loop of the back panel, and then single crochet. Do a chain up of 1 and cut when you don't have any more stitches left, and then do the same thing that we did here on the other side. Alright, now that our panels are seamed together, we are ready to go in with our sleeve. We're going to start by inserting our hook into the last side seam stitch. And then from here, we're going to be working clockwise. So insert your yarn onto your hook, pull through, and do a chain up of 1 to secure. And then into each of our underarm rows, we're going to be putting 2 single crochets into every side half double crochet. So let's get that started. This is my first side half double crochet. So I'm going to go in with 1 single crochet. And this is my next. So here is my second single crochet. We're going to skip over our slip stitch row and then put another 2 into our next side half double. So here's 1. And then here's 2. And then we're going to continue doing that until we reach our shoulder portion, which from here we're going to be putting 1 single crochet into every stitch, making our way up and over our shoulder. And then we're going to continue to put 2 single crochets into every side half double crochet. Slip stitch into that chain up of 1 space, and then I'll meet you guys back. Now that we have our first row done and we have slip stitched into that chain 1 space, we're going to do a chain 1, and still working clockwise, we're going to go in with some single crochets and some half double crochets. So I'm going to start off by putting 1 single crochet for the same amount of stitches that I have for my underarm portion. I have a total of 8 right here, so I will be going in with 8 single crochet. And keep this number in mind because we will need this number later. Now that I have my 8 single crochet, I'm now going to go in with half double crochets, just putting 1 into every stitch. And then once I make my way down this way, I'm going to leave 8 stitches to close off with 8 single crochets again. So to do our half double, even though I know you guys already know how, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into that next stitch, pull through 3. I'm going to put 1 half double crochet into every stitch till I reach the other end. Now that I've made my way down with my half double crochets, I'm going to close this off with single crochets just like how we started this. So put 1 single crochet into every stitch, slip stitch into that chain up of 1 space. And now that our row number 2 is all done, our next row is going to be a row of back loop slip stitches. So from here, do a chain up of 1. Now we are going to flip our work, and we're going to put 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch. So let's just do the first few. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through everything, insert your hook into that next back loop, yarn over, pull through everything, and put 1 back loop slip stitch, no increases or no decreases, into every stitch, and then slip stitch into that chain up of 1 space. Now that we have made our way around with our back loop slip stitch row, we have slip stitched into that chain up of 1 space, we did a chain up of 1, and we're going to flip our work again. From here, we're going to start working on our decrease rows. So we're going to start off by doing a set of back loop single crochets, and our single crochets is going to be for the same amount of underarm stitches that we have. So like I said before, I have a total of 8 single crochets, so I'm going to go in with 8 back loop single crochets. So to do the first one, insert your hook into that first back loop, pull through 2, and keep putting 1 back loop single crochet for the same amount of underarm stitches you have. Now that I have my back loop single crochets, I'm going to do a decrease. So insert your hook into that next back loop, yarn over, pull through, into that next back loop, yarn over, pull through. From here, we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. And then from here, we're going to work our way up and over the shoulder, putting 1 back loop half double crochet into every stitch. And I'm going to be putting 1 into every stitch until I have 10 stitches on this other side. And I chose 10 because of the 8 back loop single crochets I have here, plus the 2 for our decrease. So let's do the first back loop half double crochet together. Yarn over, insert your hook into that next back loop, pull through 3. Put one back loop half double crochet into every stitch until we're ready to do our decrease again. Now I've made my way down with my back loop half double crochets, and we're just going to do our decrease and then close off this row together. So insert your hook into that next back loop, yarn over, pull through, into that next back loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all three, and then close off this row with one back loop single crochet into the rest of our stitches. And now that we have this row done, we're going to be repeating our back loop slip stitch row and then our row with our decrease until this becomes nice and snug around your arm. And I'll meet you guys back right after slip stitch row. Alright, so I'm back and I have the first few rows of my sleeve all finished. I have a total of 9 rows, and from here I won't be decreasing anymore, but we do need to even out our sleeve. Since we ended on our slip stitch row, I will walk you guys through the next row, and then it's going to be a repeat from there. So from here, I've done my chain up of 1, and then I'm going to go in with the same amount of single crochets that I've been going in with. So I'm going to have 8 single crochets, making sure we're going into the back loops. Insert your hook into that first stitch, pull through 2. And now that I have my 8 single crochets, I'm now going to go in with my back loop half double crochets, going up and around, and then we're going to close up with our back loop single crochets. So pretty similarly to how we were doing our other half double crochet rows, but without the decrease. So from here, all I'm going to do is yarn over, insert my hook into that next back loop, pull through 3, and then we're going to make our way all the way around. Our next row is still going to be a row of back loop slip stitches, putting 1 into every stitch, and the row after that is going to be a repeat of this row until this portion evens out along our arm. And I'll meet you guys back right after a slip stitch row so that we can go in with the length of our sleeve from there. So I have worked my sleeve down until the ribbing is horizontal when it's worn. I ended on my slip stitch row, so from here we're just going to do rows of back loop half double crochets and back loop slip stitches. So just to get that started, our half double crochet row is going to start with a chain up of 2 and flip. And then from here, just do alternating rows of back loop half doubles and back loop slip stitches. And now, as a really quick tip, my sleeve is already pretty snug to my arm, but as we get lower, we may want it to be tighter. So I'm going to do the next few rows, and then in the next slip, I'll meet you guys back starting our half double crochet row, just to show you guys how to decrease if you guys need it, because this part may be different for everyone. So I am back, and I am around where my elbow is, and we're going to do our back loop half double crochet decrease row together, and then I'll let you guys do the rest on your own. So to start with that, we're going to do a chain up of 2. And we're going to start with a decrease of 2 back loop half double crochets. So yarn over, insert your hook into that first back loop, yarn over, pull through, into that next back loop, yarn over, pull through. We should have 4 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 4. Now for this part, we're going to be doing back loop half double crochets, just putting 1 into every stitch, until we reach the outside of our sleeve. Now this doesn't need to be an exact number, we just want to make sure that it's along the outside. So put 1 back loop half double crochet until we make it out there. Now that we have made our way to the outside of our sleeve, we're going to be doing another decrease out here. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into that next back loop, yarn over, pull through, insert your hook into that next back loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. And then I'm going to repeat rows of back loop half double crochets and back loop slip stitches, decreasing where I need to. And then I'll meet you guys back and let you guys know what rows I ended up decreasing into. Alright, so I am back and I finally have the length of my sleeve finished. And we are ready to go in with our cuff. But before we do that, I have a total of 63 rows. And just to let you guys know, I decreased into my 34th, 36th, 40th, 42nd, and 44th row. And from here, I'm going to make a chain the length that I want my cuff to be. So I'm going to start off by making a chain that is 4.5 inches or 12 centimeters, or that's going to be a chain of 17. Now that I have my chain, I'm going to block off my last chain and do a chain up of 1. Into that chain that we blocked off, or the second chain from my hook, I'm going to insert with a slip stitch. So all I'm going to do is insert my hook, yarn over, and pull through both of the loops on my hook. Let's do this again. insert my hook into that next chain, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops. We're going to put 1 slip stitch into every chain. Now that we have made our way all the way down our chain, putting 1 slip stitch into each, we're now going to slip stitch it into the base. So into that next available stitch that we have, we are going to insert our hook, yarn over, and pull through. Now this first row is connected. And then we're going to do the same thing to work our way up to the next row. So slip stitch into that next stitch, yarn over, pull through everything. We're going to flip our work. Then from here, we're going to go in with back loop slip stitches. So insert your hook into that first back loop, yarn over, pull through everything, and put 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch. And once we make our way down to the end, do a chain up of 1, flip our work, and then make your way back down towards the base, putting 1 slip stitch into every back loop. And we're going to keep going back and forth like that, connecting it into the base the same way that we just did until we don't have any more stitches left. And then I'll meet you guys back so that we can seam it up. Alright, so we have made our way all the way around with our back loop slip stitches. We don't have any more stitches left, so we're going to seam it up together. This is going to be seamed up the same way that we seamed up the sides, which is outside loop slip stitches. So let's do the first few together. Into this first stitch that we have, we're going to be inserting our hook into that front loop, or the loop that's closest to us. And then into the back panel, we're going to insert our hook into that back loop. From here, we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. Let's do 1 more together. Into the next available stitch, insert your hook into that front loop. And then into that next available stitch, into the back panel, insert your hook into that back loop. And from here, yarn over, pull through everything. We are going to keep doing this, going all the way down until we don't have any more stitches left, and then do a chain up of 1 and cut, and then we're going to do the entirety of our sleeve on the other side. Now that we have both of our sleeves finished up, we are going to clean up our collar. So what we're going to do is insert our hook into any one of our side rows. I'm going to be inserting my hook into this corner. I'm going to insert my yarn onto my hook, pull through, and do a chain up of 1 to secure. Now we're going to be putting 2 single crochets into every side half double crochet row, skipping over our slip stitch rows. So let's do this together. This is my first side half double crochet row right here. So I'm going to insert my hook with 1 single crochet, and then into that same side half double crochet with my second. We're going to skip over this slip stitch row, and then put 2 single crochets into our next side half double crochet row. We're going to keep doing this until we don't have any more of these side rows to go into. And then we will have these stitches to go into as well, so just put 1 single crochet into there. Make your way all the way around, slip stitch into that chain up of 1 space, and then I'll meet you back. Alright, I have just finished up single crocheting around my neck hole, and then after that I made a chain that was 200 chains long, and I wove it in through the loops that I have. And after that we are all done, so the last thing we're going to have to do is weave in all of our ends. And our easy V-neck top is now all finished. I am loving how clean and simple this top is. It's perfect for any time of year and looks great paired with pretty much anything. Now I just need to make it in every color. What color would you guys make it in? Let me know in the comments below. There is a written pattern down below. Use offer code TCTDIY for a discount off any $9.99 plus order. Enter this week's pattern giveaway by telling us what you guys have planned this weekend. Good luck to everyone who enters. Also, if you like this piece, give it a big thumbs up because believe it or not, it actually helps. And be sure to share us on Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook. Those links are down below. Link to our Etsy page is down there too if you want to buy this piece or any other piece on the channel. And be sure to favorite the shop so you don't miss out on new patterns and exclusive deals. As always, guys, thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.